Okay, y'all. I'm about 2 hours into my outdoor project, and I just have to tell you that if you want to give yourself, even if you have to start on a weekly basis, an incredible way to reset your system is to create a project outside. A project that you're going to need to tend. Gardening, of course, is perfect, but maybe you want to put in a waterfall or a water feature like my son's been doing at his house, or grow flowers, or put in some fall vegetables. It's a great time in Middle Tennessee to get that done. And as you do that, you're doing two things. You are grounding yourself with Mother Earth, especially if you're doing it barefoot like I've been doing today, and you're accomplishing your project. Each time you go out, you get a little more done. And it's a beautiful feeling. It's kind of like spring cleaning. Women know how that is. You reorganize stuff inside, and the chi changes, the energy changes. It happens in our body too. We get away from the blue screens. I haven't had my phone for 2 hours, and I designate. I'm not real good at being consistent on it yet, but I designate certain times to be on my phone, and then the rest I stay away from it. So try a couple of these things, and I'm going to show you in real time because some of you have been following my garden. So um, I have just cut down all of my marigolds and some of the lessons that I learned. This was originally, if you remember way back in March, this was strawberries, and it was red onion and garlic, and then I had marigolds planted. Well, lo and behold, there are different size marigolds. They're the ones that are low to the ground, like these over here. See how low to the ground those are? And then there are medium, what you see out there. But then there were marigolds that were higher than that hose stand, okay? And it strangled my strawberries. So we live and we learn. But now we have our fall squashes, acorn, and over there is my favorite butternut. And I have my marigolds drying over there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. If there's any kind of medicinal purpose for them, I'm going to discover it. All the berries up here and the elderberry tree have all been watered. And while I was watering, I was doing my chopping down of my marigolds. So I multitasked. So it was three things. Now look at the butterflies. Um, I was resetting my body, mind, and soul. I was rejuvenating my gardens while I was watering. Now you can come over here and see, remember this was all full of canna lilies, and now my butterfly bush has come back. Of course I need to weed whack around, but this is my stevia. And I need to cut, before I go in today, I'm going to cut a bunch of this down because first I took the leaves and I boiled them and made a syrup. And stevia is 10 times more sweet than sugar. And sugar's so bad for you. This is natural. And so now I have some leaves drying in the house, and I'm going to grind them up into a powder and use that as a sugar substitute, because right now I'm using honey, and that's not really great for my blood sugar either. And then we have two, under this mess of grass that's also trying to compete, we have two tomato plants that even though they're fallen down, they're still producing. It's pretty amazing. And then I have another butterfly bush that's coming up. So stevia really was a good choice for in here. Stevia and butterfly bush is what will stay in this little round. The center is concrete because of my flagpole, but all around that will be, tomatoes won't be in here next year. So that was this project. And so now you see the progress here. And you don't have to be pretty and perfect. I mean, you can see that things need to be weed whacked. Now I'll show you that this section of yard, let me come back this way, right here. So we have the outer, that was one of the original front gardens, and there's nothing in it yet. And that's going to end up being raspberries and blackberries. And then here we're going to probably do our tomatoes and peppers next year. And then we have the circle of the flagpole followed by the greenhouse. So this whole section from greenhouse all the way over to the outer bed, I'm going to cover with wood chips. Of course, I'll put cardboard underneath, and we won't have to mow this whole section next year. So that's the big fall goal. I've got to locate extra wood chips. And then you can see that the greenhouse is starting to die back. I just picked all of the tomatoes, and they're still producing, okay? Our tomatoes are still producing. And again, they're not pretty. We didn't really know what we were doing. We way overplanted the greenhouse. Pole beans were a terrible mistake. It made so much shade that the stuff that we planted inside the greenhouse didn't do as well. So you live and you learn. But we had good production most of the summer. We're still, as you can see, still getting pickling cucumbers, which will go to the chickens because I have plenty of pickles. And then apparently most of the sunflower seeds the birds got, but it's kind of like the payback because I don't put bird seed out in the summer. I only do it in the fall and the winter. And then we still have, and these are just markers right now, and these are eventually going to be this tall, up this high, and they're going to be double. So 2 of these next to each other, and they're going to be planted out with our strawberries from down below. I'm not bending down to pick up strawberries next year. I'm freaking 65. I'm a lazy gardener, right? So my husband's going to raise them up to about here, and we're going to double them, and then the strawberry plants will be able to fall down. So I hope I got that in the camera. Up to about here, about waist high. And then we didn't have success. I just wanted a tunnel so I could grow my watermelons and my cantaloupes. And look at this poor sugar baby. I mean, look at it. It is pathetic this year. It didn't get enough sunshine, and we haven't had one sugar baby this year. And last year, by now, we probably had a half a dozen. Now we've had 4 or 5 cantaloupes. You can see I've got one growing there. But again, it's a little deformed because it wasn't getting accurate sun. Got another one here that's netted. And then the little baby tomatoes, oh my gosh, these are so cool. This is a full-grown tomato, y'all. Look how tiny it is in my hand. But they pop in your mouth. I don't know if you heard that. And that's an heirloom peas variety of tomato. So you can see that it's real messy right now. My husband had the ladder out, and we are starting to disassemble. There's another cantaloupe. We are starting to disassemble the pole beans. You can see up in there, there's some that are already dried, and all of those are going to come down. I don't know if I'll get to it today, but we're going to give them to the chickens. I have a whole nother row of beets planted right in here, and these beets will probably get harvested in the morning, and I'll even use the beet greens. And that is the tour. I've got carrots and greens planted inside, and I'm going to plant those out. I'll probably put my Brussels sprouts in there as well. So that is the garden update, and just a little tip for reset. Oh yeah, and then underneath the ladder is, look at that basil plant. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it, love it. Anyway, I just try to keep you part of this food forest journey. It's been a good first experiment. This was definitely an experiment that Raj and I had, and we're going to discover what it's like in a month or so to cover it with the plastic, so we can have greens and different things growing all year round. So we're going to actually have a greenhouse out here. So anyway, there's my update. Peace.